think it's a juicy, I think we got a juicy topic.
Juice. Mwah.
Yeah. We're gonna ride the edge of controversy a little bit today, I think.
Like a bull, lasso it up.
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes.
You can see who you are.
Yoga is one of the oldest forms of healing therapy.
The important thing is that you go at your own pace.
We think we love yoga. We love yoga.
We do.
We honor its roots, and we acknowledge that in order to take this practice into the modern age, it looks a little bit different, and that's okay.
It's really okay. I think that there are scriptures, and there are documents, and there are books, and there are prophecies, and there are lineage, and all of those things are the things that have brought it here, and we love those and we respect those, but we are living in a modern world, and how can we incorporate it into our life softly, and so that we don't burn out on it as well, right? Because if we try to live in this very, very, very structured way, and also, can I just say, because I think we'll be talking about this a lot, I don't like when people tell me how to live. I like suggestions. Yep. I like information. But I'm a different person from you. I'm a different person from my husband. I'm a different person from my friends. And like, it's a blessing that that's the case, that we're all so different. But I think that with rigidity and structure, it's trying to fit us into one single mold. And so that's what I love about the practice of yoga on and off the mat is it is for everybody to accompany in their own way. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, and there are changes that have happened because it has crossed cultures, it has crossed generations of people. So welcome to Two Blond Yogis.
Welcome. We're happy that you're here.
Cecily, what are you practicing lately?
Okay. What am I practicing lately? Okay, this is really lovely. So as you know, I just went to Baja for a week, which was amazing. And I think what I got to practice down there is enjoying the simplicity. Because, here we're in this concrete jungle and we have all of this outside noise, and there they do not have that. Like, if they have a cute little cafe, it's, a roof. It doesn't have any walls. And it's just like you're on the side of the road or you're on the beach and you're eating the food that they just caught that day. And I appreciate that more than I recognize. So I've been really loving that. And I think too, it's funny because I've been learning Spanish ever since we went to Costa Rica. And it's been really hard and really fun. And I think because I'm in this like, go, 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 have to be perfect kind of mentality, I'm like, should I talk to anyone? Like I only know, 100 words or whatever. And I'm not very good at full sentences yet. And And they're so chill about it. They like listen to me and they'll like stand there for like 2 minutes while I'm struggling to say a very like boring sentence. I'm like, it's raining today, And they're like, cool, I love that. Like they don't care. They're not like, okay, like I have to go serve my other customers, like shush, I'm moving on from you. They're like there for genuine connection from a stranger that it's just lovely. So I think that's what I've been really practicing is like simplicity and joy of the connection and not having it be like, I have to say the most amazing thing or I have to be right on top of it. It's just being at peace. Yeah, I really like that. It's hard.
Yeah, who's the yogi in that situation? It's like Italy. Like, I so appreciate what this saying is: living to work versus working to live.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like here it's the same thing. Like, Orange County, great time of my life. Would go back, but yeah, it was like seeing a little like plant come through the crack. It was like you know, and actually. Italy just got some sort of award because more of the country is forest than city, which is surprising.
Forest.
yeah. So
I would not have described like
yeah.
Italy as a foresty country.
No.
Go Italy.
Because that's not where you visit. Yeah, you don't visit
Well,
there.
really quick
all
though,
right.
I did want to like read this quote because I'm a quote girly, and I feel like this sort of like represented, and that's really cute because it ties in with Italy, I guess. But this is what I've been practicing. I read this quote and I just loved it. So, in case you forgot, we live on a planet where whales sing songs that travel for miles, where trees can recognize their own offspring and protect them from underground, where dolphins give each other names, and where lightning can create glass in the sand, where horses can read human emotions, where rain has a smell even before it arrives, and where the ocean can glow in the dark. A planet where the stars we see might not even exist anymore.
Who wrote the quote? What's the quote from?
Nothing. I don't know.
The internet?
I'm so sorry. If this is you.
It's beautiful. If this is you.
We love it.
It's inspiring.
It is inspiring because we forget. We get so caught up in life, and the nature and the world is offering tidbits all the time to you. So find the little cracks.
Yeah, like the mind life. Not really, we don't really get caught up in life. Like we don't get caught up in the trees and the flowers, but we get caught up in our like day-to-day stories for sure.
Yeah. Keep us on track.
All right, have we, here you go. Shut up. Have we changed yoga to fit modern life?
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There is a fine line because it's not a good thing or a bad thing. And I think in today's world, it's so easy to be critical. But also on the other side of things, we do want to appropriately celebrate the roots, as we've been kind of mentioning. But we also want to explore, and we will continue exploring this topic in this podcast, but the way modern yoga is shaping itself, there's a few factors I think that are worth mentioning that are very different. One is that the yogas were originally for sort of was practiced by the Brahman, or practiced by the rishis, or the group of people that were basically the more elite, educated, wealthier people. And it was created, in Raja Yoga as well. It's like a royalty thing. It was created for men, and it was about meditation. Now, you see yoga practiced mostly by women, mostly the physical postures, and it's not necessarily in the same sequence structure. You have the whole section of vinyasa that is basically flow yoga, whatever the teacher decides for that day. We took this tradition and we made it fit now, where what we actually need support for is not necessarily enlightenment. It's just healing. Like, we have hormones, we have motherhood, we have businesses, we have, creations. So, and everybody needs to work on their mind, body, soul. Those are the big main three. And this yoga kind of fits all of them. Yes, I think it's been very accentuated on the physicality of it. But, that's a neutral statement. It's just what's happened. But it's also more accessible, and that's a beautiful way. It's not just for like the wealthy men. It is, so many people have found yoga for free on YouTube. And I'm sure there are some sticklers out there that say that's disgusting. However, how beautiful that at least there's something that people can go to. We have yoga for beginners. We have retreat culture, which I can absolutely, as a retreat culture participator, also critique.
Yes.
Because that is also this elite hierarchical thing, because you have to have the money to access that lifestyle, unfortunately, because it is a plane ticket. It is,
But I think that's important to what we were stating before, where it's like, we're all very different people. And so if we only have one type of yoga that we're allowed to practice, and this is the only type, and this is the rules of it, it's not going to be accessible for everybody because it's not going to be enjoyable for everybody, or it's not going to be able to connect with people or help people in that way. So to have this wide, vast, different styles, whether it be beginner yoga, Bikram yoga, Kundalini, goat yoga, slow flow, all of these are channels to accessibility to the masses, which is important. And that's tricky. But also too, if it's like, this is the rule and this is the thing, it turns into a cult-like, am I allowed to say that? But like, it turns into a cult-like state where you are not allowed to think differently. And I think that's troublesome.
Yes.
But there's two sides to it, respecting the culture and the lineage and the roots, but also wanting it to be acceptable to the masses. And how do we respect both? Yeah?
Yes, and I will say, in my experience, the solution to being able to honor the tradition is to honor the philosophy of it, because that's truly what the heart of it is. It is practicing nonviolence. It is practicing the sutras, and we'll get more into the details of that. And I want to talk about, what we struggle with too, because again, we never want to come off like we're telling you what to do, but yoga truly did start as more of a philosophy. And it's beautiful now. We have trauma-informed teaching, we have somatics, we have, for example, I think I cue this one, if you are a yogi, you'll know what I'm talking about, but we have all the warrior poses. And so the typical cue is you line up your front foot heel to your back foot arch. And that was made for, I don't think people really realize this, but the asanas were actually made by a gymnast, for a European gymnast training the Indian army. And so they were teaching like 14-year-old boys these crazy gymnastics. So a 14-year-old boy's hips are heel to arch alignment. Most women that are practicing yoga need that extra freaking space. And that's beautiful. So we can focus on the poses, the asanas. And another thing I hear often when I'm teaching, I started asking why, because I would hear it a lot, but people would say, oh, you're like a real yoga teacher. And I'm like, oh God, what does that mean? Like, what are they teaching if you don't, what's not real yoga, Like, what are you hearing about? And not to toot my own horn at all, but to get curious about what that meant is a lot of people are not teaching the philosophy. And I love your classes, Cecily, because you do read a nice little quote, or you throw in your Sanskrit, your Balasana, Baddhakonasana, blah, 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 Trikonasana, and not blah, blah, blah. It's beautiful. They're all poetic words. And we can spend an entire 5-part series on how amazing Sanskrit is. It's poetry. There's so many layers to it. But there's a way to only use those words starting from the beginning of the class. It's not beginner friendly.
Yes.
It's not inclusive.
Yes.
But if you can, you can sprinkle in these little seeds of the tradition, and I think that is accessible and beautiful.
I agree. I think that when I talk about this rigidity and this one-track mind, I think of it as the asanas, because what you're saying makes sense, and I totally agree. The philosophy behind it is beautiful, and I think a lot of religions and philosophies and practice in the world, they have, like the Bible, right? The Bible has these beautiful stories, and some people read it and this is what they interpret, and some people read it and this is what they interpret. And so there is ways to have a philosophy and a set of not even rules, but suggestions or thoughtfulness about life. And they're like, this is it. This is what we've studied, and this is what we think really, really works for humans and for mankind. And how can you incorporate these in the best of your ability? Ahimsa is a great example. Nonviolence. Nonviolence to me might mean different as nonviolence to you, right? I'm a vegetarian. I took the ahimsa pretty seriously when I was taking my yoga teacher training. I was like, I'm going to be a vegetarian and see how that feels. And do I think that people eating meat are terrible? No. But for me, that worked really well. I really enjoy being vegetarian. And I'm like, this is how I'm going to interpret it for me and for my lifestyle. For someone else, it's like non-violence to your mind. And of course, all of these can incorporate, but someone can hear that and instead of thinking I have to become a vegetarian, they think, you're right, I need to treat myself really kindly today and not be cruel and not think negative thoughts. And so it's not ahimsa, these are the rules, boom, boom, boom. It's ahimsa, non-violence. How can you practice that today? And what does that look like for you? And that is what I love and care about in the philosophy of yoga, is that it is all encompassing and it's not hard, strict, like cursory rules. It's just like, these are really great suggestions that make your life better. Take them and run with them. Practice them.
That's beautiful. And truly the point, I think, now of modern yoga, whereas in the cave of, these gurus or, Sikhs or whoever are practicing, they're trying to transcend their ego. I hear all the time, I had a Kundalini awakening, and I'm like, oh, really? Because some people that practice their Kundalini practice every single day for their entire life don't have that experience. Right. Like, you might have had an energy spiral and you felt some shit. Like, absolutely, I'm sure you had an experience. But to say that you transcended your ego is like ludicrous to me. They're like, you see that all the time.
I'm good now. I've done it. And you're like,
oh, it's bizarre. And you paid somebody like $3,000 to do it for you.
Sure.
Like, that is a critique in the culture that I will die on that hill, because it's actually disgusting to give your power away and for someone to take it. It's very predatory. You see these like videos and there's someone touching a man, usually touching a woman's womb, and she's like, how to have an orgasm from your Kundalini. Like, you're missing the beauty of it. But that is actually a tangent of what I was going to actually say. The point of yoga now, I think, is not to transcend the ego. It's to be able to express yourself. It's how to become more authentic. Because again, we have all of these paths. We have all these options. You scroll on your phone for 5 minutes and you just took like thousands of informations. That's a word. And so the point of why we practice yoga now is to actually regulate ourselves. Whereas if we're transcending our ego, we're calling it all of this light, your neurons, your nervous system can't handle all that light. Like, a second tangent of the freaking moment, but to say even high vibes only, that is going to deplete your nervous system, because you don't have the slow, low vibes of grounding to hold all of that energy. And that is why it matters to have a practice, to have a discipline. And so to pay someone, to give someone away your power to say, give me a Kundalini awakening right now, it's not grounded. Right. It is making people crazy.
So what's something that you feel like you're practicing? Because that's what I also appreciate, is there's like different areas of our life. Like, I'm over here, working on my business. So these are some things that I can like help incorporate from yoga that will like keep me grounded. I'm working on becoming a teacher, or like there's so many different aspects in our life going on, and it feels like we can help pull to help like steady us. What's something in your life right now, like a yoga concept that you're working on or trying to incorporate like more?
Just a little zoom in on my.
She's a horse. Clip clop.
Well, it's fun. It will. I was actually thinking, so maybe it was floating in our like telepathic. I'm really making up a lot of words today. Our aura cloud, our aura eye cloud that we have together. But ahimsa, and not necessarily like nonviolence outwardly. I am really realizing how critical I am and violent to myself in my thoughts. So that's the umbrella term of like comparison. And we had our first episode and I watched it back and I was like, I can't believe people ever listen to me speaking. It was like 30 minutes of me being like, oh my God, like, why are you existing? And it's sad. It is sad. And, now I am married and a mother of my husband's first situation. So I've, adopted essentially a young lady. So at 10 years old, and I realize how she is watching everything I'm doing. So if I'm sitting there in the mirror and I'm like, ew, my eye bags this morning, I am teaching her how to essentially talk to herself. And so it's a lot of like, when she says I'm pretty, I have to stop myself from being like, no, not today, and making a weird face. I have to say, thank you. You're beautiful, And so that's the practice of ahimsa. It's like, how can I be kind to myself? Because I have this little woman in training that I want her to realize that the goddess, Shakti, getting yoga philosophy, is inside of her.
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting. And I don't have kids. But it is interesting that they're like little mirrors, right? And like you get to relearn so much about yourself and the way that you treat yourself, because it's like we talk about honoring our inner child, and then to like have a child around and be like, wow, I'm not only nurturing that part of myself, but also recognizing that it's so apparent and they're really like watching everything you do. I think that's really tricky and really special and really, challenging. And I'm proud of you. Well, I think you're amazing.
Yeah.
I'll listen to you talk all day long, just so you know.
La, 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 la. Yeah, and so let me ask you, this is a wisdom tradition. What is something that is more philosophical, the gnosis of it all, that you have been incorporating more into your life? You spoke a little bit onto it, but where are you?
Where am I? In outer space. I think I've like been contemplating. You're being rude because you changed it up and made it philosophy, because that was not what I wrote down that I was working on. You're in trouble. But I think it's like the concrete jungle is like that imagery has been stuck into my head, because when I was in yoga class, I remember someone said this, and I'm very into like the imagery because I don't have very good words. And I'm sorry that I'm on a podcast where I can't like project like the images of my mind. And so it really does, these things stick with me, and somehow they like create these pathways and these mazes. But they said, you live in a 3-walled prison. And that concept blew my mind, because they were like, if you're feeling stuck,
chills.
I know, same. They were like, if you're feeling stuck, turn around. And I was like, turn around, power of the pivot. That's it? Like, that's all the advice you have for me? But it like made so much sense. It's like, come on, people, like what do we? And so the concrete jungle is really speaking to me, because going out into a place that doesn't have a lot of concrete, doesn't have a lot of infrastructure, doesn't have a lot of modern comforts, you're like, oh no, like this chair looks kind of dirty and all, like, who cares? Sit down in it. Like, what is the problem? Why are we stuck in these places that are like purposefully kind of quieting our inner mind and making so much noise in our outer mind? And in Baja, I woke up and I just like jumped into the Sea of Cortez and I was swimming around. Like, that's the first thing that I did in the morning. And I didn't like get up and like do a bunch of work and like do all these things. And it's like I got to like look at the beauty of the fish underwater and feel how cool the water felt on my skin, because it was so hot out there. And it's like, those are the things that I appreciated, and those were the things that I got to enjoy and love. And it wasn't the next episode of The Real Housewives of Rhode Island. It was like, it was just such a different connection.
Not this week.
No, the season finale. But it's so important to recognize that the quieting of the outer world helps the inner mind blossom, and we need that. And it doesn't mean that you have to think all of these brilliant thoughts, because that's one thing that I'm always like, I'm just sitting here pondering and like it's not actually very interesting, but it's special to connect with yourself.
It's what I'm hearing is just to put it into the lens of yoga. Quieting the inner mind actually gives you a better relationship with the outer world, because when it sounds to me, you're saying when your mind is quiet, you're not actually judging everything. You're looking and appreciating and observing. And yoga is a goddess culture. So you're seeing the beauty, which is funny because I'm over here kind of dogging dudes, but that's not what I mean. A lot of those dudes are also teaching how to honor the feminine. And that's a buzzword we'll get into, but that is what's happening. It's like, okay, wow, the ocean, the sunset, feeling your feet, like swimming, being in your body, like that is the point of taking the philosophy and putting into practice, to taking the yoga poses and putting into practice. It is so that way you have this better relationship with the outside world, because the mind, the ego, the thoughts aren't in the driver's seat.
Yes.
You're present.
I think too, it's that a lot of times, and correct me if how you feel about this, but we need a lot of description words to understand how we're feeling. And I think that we're kind of become a little bit obsessed with that, where we're like, well, I'm feeling this way, but I have to go to, and I love therapy and I believe in therapists, but it's like, I have to have like a technical term for the way that I'm feeling, and then I can know it, and then I can change it, and then I can understand it. But we don't always need that. It's okay to sit with an emotion and to sit in your body and think, okay, this, just not even think, just feel.
Experience.
Yeah, experience.
Yeah.
And when you quiet.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh. When you quiet, start there, sorry.
No, it's just when you quiet the outer world, you just get to experience your inner world so much more instead of trying to analyze your inner world. Like sometimes, you meditate and you try to just not even quiet the mind, not even control the mind, but just like observe. You become the observer. So there's no inner dialogue. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And it's definitely something that if it hasn't happened to you, again, because we're trying to label a very abstract, felt, embodied concept. And again, we're giving it labels. And that's also why I love yoga, is because it is an experience. We are trying to categorize and label something that is actually incredibly human, incredibly soulful, that doesn't have words. And I love that you've seen pictures, big third eye girl you are. And I want to bring this concept up to you because you're reminding me of the duality. What do you think about this era where we have the yoga philosophy of Shiva and Shakti, or doing and being? Because I think you and I, especially in self-care culture, we're in this soft girl era. I think I'm in my soft girl era, merging into my girl boss era.
She's merging.
How Yes, I'm merging, but you are definitely very like Pita. You're very fire. You're very girl boss, but you also will be like, I just chill today. And I'm always so proud of you when you chill. So how do you balance that, like get shit done, girl boss, with the soft girl, goddess, everything soft and silky and chill?
Such good questions. And I wish I had like the best answer for you. I think it's really hard. And it's tricky because I get to love and care about my business so much. Twin Star Yoga Studio, Twin Star Yoga teachers, Twin Star Yoga community. I'm blessed and I'm honored that there is an entire ecosystem of people and love and light that I get to pour energy into, and it's hard to turn it off. Like even, in Baja, I'm like, I don't have service. Like what if someone needs me? What if this? And that's really tricky because it's like, it's not a 9 to 5 where I'm like, peace out, Belinda behind the desk. Like I'm going home and I don't have to think about this anymore.
Yes.
But that's really hard. I do have to say that's something that I struggle with, but it's also the allowing. There is enough time in the day, there is enough time in the week. It does not have to be done at this exact moment. I think we have now connected so deeply into the go, go, go. And I just try to like sit back and I have this like nostalgia obsession right now where it's like in the 90s, you didn't have to get a hold of me right away. Like you would wait until beep, boop, boop, boop. Like MSN would like dial up to like chat your friend overseas.
Dial up.
Right?
We're old.
And that was okay, that was acceptable. And we're in this very hyper speed world, but it's, I think, really wanting to step back from have to go, have to do it. Like, it's interesting because it took me a while to learn this. When I first opened my business, I was checking my email like every minute. I'd be like, new email? Hello? And then I would send someone an email and they wouldn't get back to me for like a business day. And I'd be like, what are they doing? Like, what could they possibly be doing if not checking their email to respond to me? And I'm like, that's life. Like, you're allowed to be living it. So I think remembering, you know, you're allowed a business day. You're allowed to like take a beat. Just one. But yeah, but I also really...
That makes me feel...
What?
I was gonna say that makes me feel so guilty because like I have over like 200 text messages that I like don't check. I go on Instagram for 2 seconds and if I have too many DMs, I just like ignore them all. And then I'm like, I don't know why I feel so isolated.
No one writes me and it's like, we've been sending you reels for 5 days.
For real, like for real. I'm like, sorry, I'm a Taurus.
But it's also like remembering to like what you enjoy and like a guilty pleasure. We need more guilty pleasures.
I love pleasure.
Couch rotting
the
is
guiltiest of kinds.
Yes, couch rotting. I love that expression. Couch rot. That's my favorite thing to do.
I love that. Couch rotting or maxing with your couch rotting.
Take me away.
Am I Gen Z? I'm making myself younger with these words.
Wait, what did you say?
I'm couch rotting. I'm aura maxing with couch rotting.
I was
Clock
like,
it.
my hearing aid. What?
Yeah.
Cute.
Yikes.
Cute.
The point is of what we're saying in our girly, silly way is happiness is an internal thing. And we can do every practice that we can think of. But the medicine is in, quote, Cecily's favorite term, the power in the pivot. You know your medicine, you know what you need in the morning, in the evening, at any single given time, somewhere in you. That answer is always in you. It's just about the different tools that we have to be able to listen to that inner voice, that heart. This heart is honestly the most powerful electromagnetic science, metaphysical science thing that you have. It is far stronger than your brain. This is actually a receiver. The body is the storehouse, and the heart is how to access it. So the yogas, to give you some slightly practical information of how to access that inner voice. For me, just a little last closing tip, but just tap your chest, like rub it. Like this sternum here, this spot right here, actually creates hormones in your brain that regulate and relax you. So if you're like, I'm overstimulated, just come back here. Nobody will even notice. Just like literally watching me right now probably just relaxed you.
It relaxed me.
Because we have mirror neurons. Yeah, see?
The thing that I have been really loving, and I've actually taught in my class the other day, was we were doing this really tricky pose with like a strap, and it was dancer pose, and like both your hands were here and you were like doing a back bend and your foot was in it. And then people were wobbling and falling out of the pose, and I could just sense the room. Like the ego started to take over and everyone got like really pissed. And you can feel it where everyone's like, and I was like, pause. Stand up, take a big breath, bring your left hand, I'm mirroring, I guess, but bring your left hand to your right shoulder, take a big breath in. Other side. I'm like, let it go. Leave it in this room, move on. It's not about the pose. It's about the path, the practice, the struggle. And it was great, like for people to like actively kind of like shed that ego self for just a moment was awesome to see, because then they were like, it's so powerful, it's so special to be witnessing people's journey.
Chills.
It's really, really cool.
It's about the path. That was so awesome. That was so awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending time with us.
We appreciate it.
If this conversation, we do. We love you guys. And if it resonated, you are our only way to survive the interwebs. So please share it with your mom, share it with your friends, leave a review.
A nice one.
Cecily? What's our email?
I believe it to be hello@twoblondeyogis.com. 2 spelled with a number.
And that can be like what you want to hear about, or if you just resonate and you want to tell us about it. Love letters are accepted.
We like it when they have the little like lipstick. Old school. Spray it with some perfume. Stalk it up. Until next time, remember, yoga is not about becoming someone else. It's about coming home to yourself. We will see you next week. Until next time.